Hello. Tony Benson here, founder of Notary Calendar. I'm going to do an update to the mileage calculator and how it works, mainly for those of you that have calculated your fees based on city. The great and wonderful Jennifer Cooper sent me an email the other day, said, can you create it so that it will allow me to put in a fee for each city? And I was like, ooh, that sounds like a coding nightmare because there's thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably millions of cities all over the country. And that would be extremely difficult. So what I basically suggested is just reverse engineering your different cities so that the mileage calculation that it uses, the system uses, will get you close. Hopefully it actually works out to be more. And I think, honestly, in your main circle, you'll actually make more. But that depends on how you do your fees. So I'm going to go to profile here. And so I'm going to show you here. I've got just a basic map where to go. So this is their basic generic area, right? And here's the fees that she charges, right? So $30 for Selma and Reedley and Kingsburg. So inside this radius, and some of you are like, where did you get that? How did you do that? Let me show you. If you go to, this is mapdevelopers.com/draw circle tool. You can just go to mapdevelopers.com, or you could Google radius map and it'll probably show up. This is the one, I've played with a few of them. This is the one I like the most. Mainly because you could take and put multiple circles. You can put your address in here. You can tell it how far of a radius you want to go, and then just hit new circle, and boom, it draws a 10-mile radius around your location. So now what you can do is make it big if you want, and zoom in and say, okay, well, what cities do I want to go to, and how much do I want to charge? This is a 10-mile radius from that address. Right? This is my old mailbox I used to have. I actually live way down here now, but I can look at this and say, well, I don't want to go to Renton or Federal Way. I don't want to go here. You can actually drag this and shrink it. And here's the beauty that happens. See, the radius goes to 6.32 miles. So when you adjust this, it'll change the radius right there. So that will tell you how far it is to each city. Here's the other beautiful thing. You can say, I want 15 miles, hit new circle, and boom, it draws a new circle on there. And then you can adjust this one, right? You can highlight each one and get this back to, say, 10. Edit circle, it'll readjust it. So now you can see right there is there's a 10-mile radius, there's a 15-mile radius. You can put as many of these you want on there. It really is, it's kind of fun to play with a little bit. But that is the best thing to do, because when you come in here then, when we go to, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this right here. When you come down here, right, to your distance, and we'll bring this up. So basically what I did is took these areas and put radiuses around them. I looked for these different cities, Selma, Sanger, right here, right? There's Selma, Sanger. There's Fowler on there, Reedley, Kingsburg, Reedley's right there. So I found the furthest out one, and it was about 15 miles. I think it was like 14.3 or something. So those are $30. And then Hanford and Lemoore down here. You got Clovis and Fresno are right here. I don't know where Kerman is. I couldn't find that. Oh, there's Kerman right there. Visalia. So those are all right there. So I went to the outer outskirts of Visalia, Lemoore, and Kerman, dragged the circle out to those cities, went, okay, that's about 30 miles. And then I took these other areas and dragged it out. I found Oakhurst, and then what was the other one? I don't remember what it was. I remember Oakhurst, Backley, Shaver Lake's here somewhere, Porterville, I think it was. Whatever it is, this is not my town, so sorry. Somebody else's. So this is essentially how much they're charging for that specific distance. Now, here's all you have to do is get a calculator. Where did my calculator go? I think I probably shut it down. They say, okay, I'm charging $40 to go 30 miles, so $40 divided by 30 it's $1.33 a mile. So you're essentially charging $1.33 a mile to go out into this middle circle. Now, I'm not sure how each of you charge. I charge flat rate. I don't charge per notary act or per signature or per stamp or any of that stuff, because I've been doing this long enough that I know that on a power of attorney, I'm going to have probably 1, maybe 2 stamps. Sometimes I might have 5 or 6 notarial acts. So it's like, for me, I just like to do the averages. I just did one yesterday. It was a medical power of attorney, medical directive. It was literally 5 minutes from my house. The guy was flexible. I said, if you can do it at this time, I'll give you a deal. I made it $75. That's my lowest rate, just like a single document. And he was good with that. He was home all day. It was for his mom. Perfect. It worked out great. I spent like 20 minutes, 25 minutes tops doing this. So I made $150 an hour on that deal. It was a no-brainer, right? But I charge a flat rate just to keep it simple because I try to put myself in my customer's shoes. And most of the time, and that's exactly what he did, is he called me and he goes, I don't know what I'm doing here. I just was told I need this medical power of attorney for my mom, and I don't know what I'm doing. So hopefully you can give me some guidance. Okay, yeah, I can do this, but I can't do this, right? But I can get it notarized for you. So it worked out, and that's the way most people are. And they don't want to have a whole bunch of, their mind's usually already swirling around what's going on in their life, right? Especially if they're in the middle of something. And they don't want to, what's this for this? They don't want an education on what we do. They really don't care. Most people don't. I know I don't if I'm in those shoes. I just want to know what my price is. And so, to everybody runs their business how they see fit. I know people, I've got a lady that's here. She charges for every single notarial act. She literally called me 2 or 3 months ago. Hey, you want to do this job? I'm like, what is it? It's here. And it's not that far from me. It's like 20 minutes from me. How much do you want for it? Like 100 a quarter is fine. I mean, for that, it's like 3 different signers, so it was a little bit more work, but it was 15 or 20 minutes from my house. She's, I'm trying to get you paid. I quoted them $230. I'm like, well, they never called her back, which I understand because $230 is a lot. But she charges for every single notarial act, and that's fine. That's how she runs her business, and she does fine. She does well, actually. I just prefer the flat rate thing because that's what I would want if I was in their shoes. So power of attorney, 15 miles, right? Well, let's reverse engineer this before I go to there. So 50 miles, so it's $60. Whoops. I did that before. Where did it go? There it is. So $60 out to the very outskirts out to Oakhurst, which is about 50 miles. So you take 60 divided by 50, that's $1.20 a mile. So all you have to do is figure out how much you're going, and that's the furthest out, right? You go, okay, that's about $1.20 a mile. So now what you can come in and do, and you can make this. I actually normally have mine at $250. I actually did this and I had to redo it, but I'm going to save that real quick. So my normal fee is my base travel distance, right? And if you haven't seen this, this is your max distance, right? So that tells the system that that's the furthest I'm willing to go. If you don't want to go beyond this circle, that's 50 miles, you're going to put 50 there. So if somebody does a search and they're 75 miles away, you won't even show up. So I have my max distance set at 150. My base distance is 15. So I say, okay, $30 would be the travel fee for a power of attorney, and it's $55 for the document itself, which I do flat rate. I just $85 because most of the time is travel anyway. But if I have to go beyond 15 miles, so in this case, we figured this was what, $1.33 a mile? And obviously, you have to put a static number in there. You can't change it per each location, each radius, right? It's got to be one. You can see here, it's $2.50 a mile. So I have mine set at $2.50. So if I go from here 15 miles, if I go another 10 miles outside there, it's going to add $25 to it. Actually, let me just show you real quick. That's what I was doing here. Let me refresh that real quick. And this is what I would do. Okay, reverse engineer the numbers, see how much you're charging at the outside of the radius per mile. And then figure it out. How much works, and I did this a whole bunch before I got it down to where $250 made sense. I'll just find a distance somewhere that's outside of my normal range, so it's going to calculate the mileage. I'll use the same document so I keep seeing the price, right? So this place there's my base fee for power of attorney is $85. It is, 30 divided by 250 is what, 12? It's 11 or 12, something like that. So this is about 11 or 12 miles beyond the 15-mile radius, but beyond the base. So it's going to tack on $30 for additional travel fee, which makes the total $115, right? But let's say you only want to charge $1 a mile. We can come change this to $1. We hit save, and I was going to mention that. Now let me refresh this. This thing rounds up to the nearest $5. Because, when we first did it, it came out like all these pennies and stuff, and because it was just a basic calculator that said calculate this number times this number, and it was 13.27 miles, and it would multiply that by that, and it was just like, no, round it off. Just round it up to the nearest $5 increment. Now what you see, okay, so it was about 12 miles, so it rounds it up to 15. So if you have $1 per mile, it makes it about $15. Your travel fee is 15, so it makes the total for your customer 100. I did this a whole bunch when I finally tweaked it. I did this, and then I didn't like it So the best thing you can do is go in and do that. You're not going to break anything. And if you do, bugs show up in all technology sometimes. And so if something does break, then shoot me a text, give me a call. My number's right there. That's my cell number. Just shoot me a text. Hey, something's broken. This thing's not working. And let me know. And I'll go in as quick as I can and get it fixed. I should be able to right away. Usually I can, but just go play with it. That's the best thing you can do. Go use the drawing tool. Figure out, what your distance is, what your towns are. And then come in and make the number whatever you need it to be to make it make sense. I think that's the easiest you can do. So, but yeah, if you're using, this system and doing it by town, just reverse engineer it. And it's relatively simple, actually. And frankly, I think, if you're looking at $1.33 a mile here, I think $1.50, even $2 a mile is reasonable. So if you put it at $2 a mile, you're gonna be making more money. And the goal is always to make as much profit as you can, right? And I don't think, a $4 or $5 or a $7 or $8 increase or a $10 increase is probably not going to scare anybody away, right? It's not going to change your fees by that much, but it should boost them up a little bit. And then you get paid for every mile you're driving, not, if you have to go way out here to Lemoore or way out to Kerman, then you're going all the way to the outskirts, right? And still only collecting $40, where, if you go somewhere closer, I mean, if you're here, Fresno's $40, but it's closer, right? It's not as far. So you should actually end up getting paid more to go all the way out here versus going to here. So you might get, $85 here, where you're getting $100 here by having to calculate that extra mileage. So again, I think it's more profitable to do it that way, to charge per mile. The question becomes how much to charge per mile to keep your fees approximately where they are right now. So hopefully that helps. And if it doesn't, then let me know. And I'll figure out something else, try to find some other analogy or way to explain it. But I think hopefully that should do it. So, all right. Well, thanks for hanging out and having some fun. And we'll see you very soon somewhere. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.